Hello.
Hello.
Did you feel it today?
Oh yeah.
We were in the office in a meeting. It's
Yeah.
all it's all glass, but the table is as heavy as my dining room table, and that table was going
What floor are you on?
on the 10th.
Oh, it was definite earthquake. It
Yeah,
made that noise. It made that noise.
I we I heard, even though I don't hear very well, I heard a little.
Yeah, it makes a noise.
Yes, but it was mostly centered around Alhambra because we have some
Right.
buildings. So I got some small cracks in the buildings.
Oh, you had
But
cracks. Oh,
well, that's it. That's not too bad. So the worst is when pipes break. Then you have
uh,
a mess. Hi, Ernie.
Hi,
Ernie.
everybody. Mem Zion, 47. What about an Orev Kablan? An Orev is a cosigner. So when somebody cosigns a note, the lender has a choice to collect the loan either from the guy he made the loan to or from the cosigner. So an Orev is not automatically on the hook. However, an Orev Kablan is where the Malva can go directly to him first. He doesn't have to deal with the lender at all. So what about an Orev Kablan? Can he testify on behalf of the borrower? Is he considered a Nogeh B'Dover? Amri law made, the Amri law made. So one opinion is he's allowed to, another opinion he's not allowed to. Amri law made. Mishum ka'arev dummy, just like we said, a regular arev, if the lova has other pieces of land that the creditor can go and take, so on this piece of land, the arev can give testimony on, because it's not for sure that he's going to be a nogeh b'dover. But amri la ena made, even if he has other pieces of land, listen, the arev kablan is at risk. He would rather have the love have two pieces of land rather than one piece of land. The chiyasi balchov might the boy shakel, because he would have a choice. So this opinion, and it seems like a correct opinion, makes the Orev Kablan a interested party that there's a conflict, because the more the merrier, the more land. He'd rather have him have two pieces of land, even though he has another piece of land. Better for him to have two than one. Amrav Yechon. We've said that if you deposit a piece of wool to be dyed, so the uman cannot establish a chazaka that he owns that, because there's a reason why people give him things. Now, ben uman, a son that has nothing to do with the father, yesh chazaka, he can't establish chazaka. Oris ein chazaka. Ben Oris yesh chazaka. The son of a sharecropper can establish chazaka. However, Gazlan, somebody who's been adjudicated as a thief, so he can never establish chazaka. But a Ben Gazlan also Eilam chazaka. The son of a Gazlan also cannot establish chazaka. But Ben Benoshel Gazlan yesh chazaka. A grandson can establish chazaka.
Why is that? Because it's twice removed from the.
We don't know yet. We don't know.
Oh,
Hey Chidami. What are we talking about? And why should there be a difference? He also betanosa davuin. Now, why do we say that the ben of the umin or the ben of the oris have a chazaka? I mean, if they have the same claim as their father, fil hanachnami, they should also not be able to establish chazaka. They're coming with the same claim as their father. Either also b'tanasa davun. If they have nothing to do with their father, fil ben gazlanami, then what does the son of the gazlan? Why should he have a problem establishing chazaka? Lo tzricha de ka'amri edim b'fanenu hodolo, that the owner of the object had confessed to their father that the object belonged to the father, and he was not a thief. Hanich iklememer kushta ka'amri. So perhaps we should believe the son of the umin or the sharecropper because there was an admission. But a son of a gazlan, hi, apagav de oidinami lo mehemet. Even though the original owner of the object had admitted in front of Vadim that the father had not been a gazlan there, he's not believed. Rav Kana, Shem Rav Kana, Ilad de oidulei, if it wasn't for the admission, they would have brought him and his donkey to the police. He would cause him. He must have been like a mafia guy, and he would cause him a lot of sorrows. That's why he admitted. The admission was not real. And since the son is relying on that admission, he also doesn't have a chazaka. Amarava. But I guess it doesn't extend all the way to a grandchild. However, Rava says, I can describe a case where even the grandson cannot establish chazaka, grandson of a gazlan. He comes with the same claim of the father. He's relying on someone who doesn't have chazaka, which is the gazlan. Gazlan. What describes a gazlan who can't establish chazaka? Rav Yechnan. There's a chazaka that this field was stolen. Rav Chisda Amar, not that they knew for sure that specific field, but Kagon Beis Ploni. There was a certain family, they didn't even mention their name. Shahorgin Nefashos, this came moment, they were like mafia people. They would kill people because they wouldn't pay up their debts. So that's somebody who's a gazlan that could not establish chazaka because people are fearful to protest. It's a practical reason why people are not protesting that they're squatting on somebody's land because they're fearful of being killed. Torah. Umin ein lo chazaka. We said a craftsman cannot establish ownership in an item because it was given to him to work on. However, we're on Abe and George. We're on Mem Zion.
The bottom of the page.
A little bit less than halfway down.
I'm with you.
Okay. However, Yarad Ma'umana, so if the shoemaker closed his shoemaking shop, he's not a shoemaker anymore, then Yesh lo chazaka, then he can establish chazaka on things that he has. Similarly, Oris ein lo chazaka, a sharecropper, while he's working somebody's land, cannot establish chazaka. But Yorad Marisa, so if he's no longer a sharecropper, Yesh lo chazaka after 3 years, like anybody else. Then we said, that a father can't establish chazaka in the assets of his father, nor can a wife in the assets of her husband. However, Ben Shecholak, the son moved away. He's not involved in the father anymore. Or Isha Sheniz Garsha. A woman got divorced. Harayin Keshar Kolodam. They can establish chazaka. If they're in a field for 3 years, they have every right to establish chazaka. So Bishma ben Shechalak, I can understand why we have to be given a chiddush regarding the son who separates from his father, Itzrich, because Sakitay the Chamina, maybe Achuli Achel Gabe, because maybe the son who tries to squat in his father's property, maybe the father will be moichel his son. But and you would think that he can't establish chazaka because just from the fact that he's his son, but Kamash Shmalan that no. We're not worried that the father will be moichel. If the son now has nothing to do with the father from a business point of view, he's not oichel al shluch, then he can establish a father will protest if the son is there illegally. But Isha is Garsha Pshita. So I understand there's a relationship of a filial, loving relationship between a father and son. Even if a son separated from a business point of view, you could have a havamina that the father might not protest if a son is squatting in his field. So we have to be told the chiddush that he would protest, and therefore, if the son is in his father's field for 3 years, he establishes ownership in it. However, a woman who gets divorced from her husband, of course the husband's going to protest if he sees this woman occupying his field. They're not connected anymore, and he should have protested. So it's not a regular case of black letter law that she was divorced. The megureshes ve'enu megureshes. There's a suffix. There's a din if a man throws a get at his wife, and it's exactly equidistant between him and her, so it's a suffix get. And the husband is required to continue providing mizonos until he gives a proper get. Rav Zera, Rav Zera, Rav Yomi, Barav Amar Shmuel, Kol Mokum Shomer Chachamim Megureshes ve'enu megureshes Ba'al Chayv Mizonoseh. So that was the chiddush. You might have thought that since a husband has to provide mizonos until he gives a proper get, maybe they're still connected, and the lack of protest is maybe that's why he didn't protest. No, he's going to protest, and therefore, if she's in the field for 3 years without protest, she can establish chazak. Rav Nachman, Amar Lihuna, Kulon. We mentioned in the last few blot different parties that cannot establish chazaka. We said an umen, a craftsman, an aris, a ben cannot establish from his father, an isha with her husband. So all of these that have been mentioned that have no chazaka. However, shevi raya. But let's say they bring a star or edim that this field belongs to them, rayas and raya. It's good proof. Umamidin is asoda biyodin, and we give them the field. But Gazlan shevi raya, ain raya sarai. One of these mafia people that we described as who will kill for money. So if he brings a star or edim, it's not a good proof. And ein mamidim soda biyado. We think that perhaps he squeezed the star or the edim with physical pressure, and therefore we don't believe the gossip. So the Gemara says, "My kamashmon." What's the chiddush here? Tanina. We learned it. Lokach misikrikin. If you purchase a field from a mafia guy, the chazer v'lokach ibalabayis. And then he found the original owner, Mekho Bottle. So with Gazlans, if Gazlanis are in the way, even though there's a Raila Mechira, we don't listen to it because it may have been established falsely. Still, there's a chiddush of Rav Huna. Lafukim Mirav, the Amar Rav, lo yishanu ela da Amar le chazeku knei. When do we say that if you bought something from a mafia guy, it's bottle? Because when the Bailim said, go establish chazaka and be koine it, and they didn't write it. Excuse me. And they didn't. Thank you. And they didn't write a star. But you might have thought of a star kana, but they're not going to force somebody to write a star. Kamash that no, the raya of a star with a gazlan also is not a good raya. Kishmuel, shomer af star nami loy kana. Ad sheyichtov achrayis nechas. The balabayas who's selling has to give a guarantee that if it's ever taken away, he'll make the purchaser whole. Pravivi Messiah ba, Ishmael Rav Nachman, Karka Ein Lo, that the Gazlan doesn't ever get the land, even if he has a star, Aval Mos Yeshlo. But he has the money, can keep Bamed Varmamorim, that you can take the money back. The Gazlan counted out money and paid him. If it was just the Bailim admitted that he got paid low, they actually have to see money paid, money counted out. Kirav Kanish, Omer Ilav, just an admission is not enough. Omer Ravuna. Tell you have an owner of a field. Guy comes in and hangs him up from a tree and tortures him until he agrees to sell the land to him. And he agreed to sell after being tortured. Zvine. It's a sale. My timer. Komad Zavin Inish. If a person had sold something and he loved the honest, love him as Avin, and if he hadn't been tortured, he wouldn't have sold it. But after torture, he sold it. That's what the Gemara thinks might be the reason. The Gemara says maybe not. If he himself is going to get tortured, maybe it would be different. So what's the reason why, if someone is forced to sell, we sell, the sale is good? So the halacha, the Rambam in the Shulchan Aruch says if somebody was forced, even with physical torture, to sell something, and he accepted money, so the sale is good sale, even though the Eidim didn't see the receipt of the money. So what's the reason? Kidatanya. Mario, we're going to go to Mem Ches today. We're going to do 48 as well, because we can't learn Torah tomorrow, Tisha B'Av.